morning. This is Pascal Mshayuma. Welcome to the WIP channel, and I'm one of the hosts of the WIP channel. And today we are very blessed. We are very honored to have our guest of honor, and I think she is going to introduce herself. Welcome to the WIP channel.
Thank you so much, Pascal. I'm Abigail. I am a professor at Arizona State University in the psychology department, and I'm director of the Reach Institute, which we can talk about later.
Yes.
And I'm very honored to be here.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you for coming, and I think we are very honored too. And thank you for accepting our invitation. And it's a privilege to have you, and we're gonna be blessed, and our viewers will be very blessed and very learn something from you. And we have our first section of this interview. We're gonna pick up some questions, and you can answer them, and if you don't feel like answering them, you can still skip, right? So, and then I'm gonna make this one, and then what's your
I have to pick the surprise question. Okay. All right. Oh, looks like I've picked two. Oh no, one. There you go.
Yeah. So
I read it out. Mm-hmm. Never eat your favorite food ever again, or have to eat your favorite food for every meal. Ooh.
What do you think about the question?
Well, I'm a big believer in moderation. Mm-hmm. So I think, given that I have quite a few favorite foods, I would opt to never eat my favorite food again rather than to have to eat it every single time.
Wow. And what is your favorite food or your favorite meal?
So my favorite food is a vegetable. Mm-hmm. It's an artichoke.
Wow.
It's a very strange vegetable because it's very prickly, but when you boil it, it just is so delicious.
Wow.
When I was pregnant with my children, I ate them all the time.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think I'm a vegetarian too. I love veggies because I don't think these calories food is good especially for young people. I think it's very good for everybody, not only for young people, to eat veggies, because veggies is very interested. My favorite food is fufu.
Oh, fufu.
Yeah,
okay.
Fufu. Yeah, that's an African food.
Special.
And I think it's very wonderful. We're gonna move for the next question. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Okay, I'm going to dig down to the bottom here.
Yeah.
And this one is, what do we do when we have doubts?
Yes.
That's a very deep question.
It is. What do you think?
So I think people really act differently depending on their background, their faith, their philosophy of life. I think some people tend to want to talk about their doubts and get input from other people, wise people, older people, young people who have particular points of view. I think some people really turn to a higher power, to their God and their faith, to resolve doubts. I think it depends whether you're really a believer in something that helps you resolve your doubts, or whether you're more of a sort of a rationalist.
Wow.
And I think I'm a mixture.
I know.
So,
yeah. So I think this is a very wonderful question about, and especially when it comes for young people. What do we do when we have doubt? And my question is, as as somebody who is very who has a lot of knowledge about psychology, right? What do you think why do you think young people, youth, are living into a very high level of doubt in this generation? There are a lot of young people, youth, or people, in general. They live with doubt right now than before, than their early age. Why do you think the reason?
I think it's a great question. We're living in a very complicated time. We're overwhelmed by information on social media, television. Lots of things are conflicting. And I think it's not unusual to have a lot of doubts. I think the point that maybe you're getting at, Pascal, is that when you have clear values, it's not that you may have less doubt, but you may have a way to resolve your doubt.
Okay.
But I do think that it's harder and harder to figure out what your values are as a young person.
That's right.
So I think that the values, it's one of the most important things that parents teach their children, because we can't tell our children what to do at every point in the way.
Okay.
But if we teach them some guiding values, a sort of a moral compass, we're giving them the tools to solve problems that come along the way.
That's right, Abby. And then let me just tell to our viewers that we are bilingual, right? Ya sisi tunaongea Swahili pia, kama vile mnaweza ona kwamba leo tuko na guest wetu ambaye anaongea English. As I was saying that we are bilingual, and for those who don't listen, who don't speak English, but I hope we are bilingual, and we try to translate in Swahili, so they don't have to have any worry or any doubt. But one more question about this one, because this one is very interesting, right? Do you think the social media have a negative impact or positive impact on the youth right now?
Do I have to pick one answer? Can I hedge?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think social media is it's not all bad. There are some positive aspects of social media.
Okay.
If you are live in a very small minority where you feel like in your community there are not many people who are like you or who share the same interest as you. Let's say you like a particular type of knitting and there is nobody around you. You live in a rural community, or you live and you don't know anybody who does this thing. On social media you can find a community.
That's right.
It's not a real, it's not a three-dimensional community, but really it's the promise of social media is to find other people who share the same interests, who might not be physically, geographically near you.
Yeah.
That's the positive side. I think the negative side is that it's easy to get sucked up into social media. So you spend we know the data on how our young people and even very young children, if they have the opportunity, spend more and more time on social media. And that means, because we only have a finite amount of time, we only have 24 hours in the day, maybe 14, 15 hours of actual awake time. The more time you spend on social media, the less time you are actually interacting with other people. And there's no way to substitute for being with people. We are social animals, and we should not be spending all our time on the screen. It's really a dangerous thing. We lose the ability to interact socially if we don't do it. So that's the problem with social media.
That's the problem with social media. Thank you so much, Abby. Your responses are very important. So nataka tu niseme kidogo. I just want to try to explain one thing in Swahili for those who listen or those who are watching us right now. Anasema kwamba ni vizuri sana kutumikisha social media ama matelefone na resources sociaux munjia ya mzuri, maana ya watu wengi sana wanatumia resources sociaux na munjia mbaya, nayo inawasababisha wanajideconnecte na mambo mengine ya maisha. Lakini kama unatumia resources sociaux mzuri, utatia kutana kwamba itakufalia. I think just one more question about this one, and then we'll be done with this section, right? Are you ready?
Can I say one more thing about social media?
Yes.
The other danger in social media, and we know this, is that when we are together, we have ways that we behave. We don't start throwing stones at each other in a room. We don't start fighting. We have certain standards of behavior. And what we know is that on social media, those standards of behavior are easily lowered because people don't feel the same inhibitions. And that's why it's so much easier to bully and to be bullied and to be treated badly and to have insults thrown at you, or for you to say things that you would never say in person. And that's a very dangerous thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I think as she just said, it's better to use social media in a positive way so that it will benefit you. And then I think we are just another question.
Last question.
Just last question.
Okay.
Thank you for your answers. Your answers are very productive.
Sure. Okay. How do you know God is real besides look all around you?
Yes.
My goodness me.
This is not about Christianity. It's all about faith.
Yeah.
And then you are a faith person. How did you really? How do you know God is real beside look around you?
Well, I will say that I think the guest after me should answer this question also, but I will just sit because I know she'll have some very interesting perspectives on it. I think for me, I know God is real when I see a beautiful, like this morning, a beautiful sunrise. When I see people doing wonderful things for each other. When I hear the sounds of nature, I feel that sometimes that life is miraculous. When I see a new baby,
wow,
and that's to me the essence of God being real.
That's good. Thank you so much, Abby. Wow, your answers are very productive and very, very amazing. I think God is real, and that's why we are here. Yeah, just I see God in you, and then you see God in me, because we are all created under His image, right? What do can you tell to our viewers what you do, and you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Pascal. I'm Dr. Abigail. I am a professor at Arizona State University in the Department of Psychology, and I am director of an institute called the Reach Institute. At Arizona State University, our group has been studying parenting for many, many, many years. Many years. And for me, I have been interested in how parents help their children to grow up and become healthy young adults and adults for, I have to say, more than 20 years. That gives away my age, but what can you do? I got interested in parenting because parenting, I think, is the hardest job any of us will ever have.
That's right.
If you're not a parent yet, you will likely be a parent someday, and you will have that responsibility. with the responsibility, as you know, Pascal, comes great joy.
That's right.
But there are many times when you become a parent where you wish you knew more. And unfortunately, you know, for every job, you know, that we go and work in, we require some kind of training.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for parenting, there's no training required, which is a big irony, because parenting is such a difficult and challenging and important, most important job you will ever have. So my colleagues and I aim to understand, we're always learning about how we can support parents to be their children's best teachers. And what we know about how parenting, especially in difficult situations, can be so important, and what parents should know when they are in difficult situations, in stressful transitions, and how they can help their children to be strong and resilient.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good thing, and then that's a very good thing to learn about and to know more about. But I think especially I'm gonna talk about especially the refugees families, right? Or the immigrant families. Do you think are also interested, or can they be interested into this project or into this study about the parenting in the moment?
So I want to take a little step back, with your permission.
Yes.
And I want everybody who's watching to think about their own parents. I want you to think about one thing, and there may be many things, that your parent taught you or did for you that you take with you now. And I want you to think about one thing, if you are a parent, that you find very important to transmit to your own children.
That's right.
And when you think about that, you will be necessarily thinking about your heritage, where you came from, and what you want to transmit from that to your children. So I did not grow up in the United States.
Wow.
I'm also an immigrant, but I came from the United Kingdom.
Okay.
And when I think about my children, they're a little older now, none of them. They're all over 18.
Okay.
But when I was bringing when my children were young, my husband and I had to think about that a lot. What are the values from where we grew up that we want to share with our children?
Yeah.
And some of those values, even though England and the United States we can think of as very similar culturally, there are definitely some things that are different here. And if you came from if you had to come, you had to flee your country, or even if you didn't have to flee but you chose to come to the United States, anywhere you came from, but particularly like if you come from Africa, Congo,
Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia.
Yeah, the culture is very different.
Yeah, that's.
And when you are thinking about what your parents taught you and what you want to teach your children, it's not only the culture that influences you, but also the circumstances that you left. Now, many people fleeing war left situations that prior to the war were very good. They were very successful. They had very happy lives. And then a war came and completely turned their lives around. And they found themselves, and you find yourselves in circumstances that you never imagined. And then here you are in America, and thankfully you can breathe, start a new life. But starting a new life with children who are American is a very difficult challenge.
Very difficult.
Very hard. And so you are parenting in a new place with children who know about this society more than you do, and you want to transmit the best of what you came from. And how do you do that? And that is something that we are trying to understand. And we want to do two things in our research. We do two things. We want to understand the best ways that parents who have come from another culture, another country, who have come from very difficult circumstances, how they transmit the best of their values and their principles and their practices to their children, and how we can help other people who might be struggling. And so what we did was, over many years, we met with people like you, Pascal. We were so grateful that you shared your wisdom with us.
Thank you.
And your history. And we brought many people together to learn. And then we combined what we learned from people like you with what we know are successful principles and practices here in the United States to develop a program, an online parenting program for families who have migrated to America. And that is what you called Parenting in the Moment. It's a program that is available in many languages, in 4 different languages. And we want now to share it with people to learn if this is helpful to them.
So because that's where I was about to ask you to, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but maybe people and ask, is this program available to everybody, to all the family, and how can they join and then know about and know more about the program? Is it in Swahili, in English only, in Arabic, or in Espanol, or in Juif, or So that's the question. How and they join, and how and they to find the is there any registration fees? Or you charge any money to join the program, or do you ask people how are the ways of joining the program?
Thank you for all those questions. So I think it's really important for people who might be interested in looking at what are essentially these sort of parenting tools or strategies in the Parenting in the Moment program to know more about it. So I think it's important to know that this program, we received money from the United States government, from the Administration on Children and Families, to test this program, to see if it works, not because we will send any information about people to the government, no, only because there is no program, there are no resources like this available to families who have migrated or been forced to migrate from countries like Uganda and Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, or from Syria and Iraq and Lebanon, or from countries in Latin America. The program is available in French, in English, in Arabic, and in Spanish. And I believe there'll be a QR code on the screen so that people can read a little bit more about the program. We developed the program, and now we are evaluating it. And the way we are evaluating it is that we are inviting anybody who lives in the United States, so you have to live in the United States, and you have to have a child who is between 6 years old and 12 years old, who lives with you in your home. And you have to have migrated to the United States from anywhere but to the United States in the past 20 years.
20 years.
So you have to have a child from 6 to 12. You have to have come from somewhere else. And the last thing is that you have to speak fluently either French, English, Spanish, or Arabic. So you can be a Swahili speaker, but you have to have English at least at about an 8th grade level to be in the study. And the reason for that is that we will ask some questions. To evaluate the program, we need to ask people questions at the beginning and at the end and a little bit after that to see how the program affected them and their family. And the only way we can do that, unfortunately, we wish we could provide the program and the study in multiple languages, but we could only choose 4 because it was too costly otherwise. So it's okay to be a Swahili speaker if your English is good enough to answer questions around even a 6th grade level. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's that. I think to. So let me try to translate in Swahili a little bit and
Thank
say,
you.
yeah, because we have a lot of viewers, followers, or people who can be interested about this study, who are Swahili speakers, as Swahili form, as we say. Na wandugu zetu wapendwa, mama pia anaongelea juu ya programu ambayo inaitwa namna gani ambayo unaweza ukalea watoto hapa nchini Amerika, zaidi kwa wale watu ambao ametoka manchi mbalimbali, Kongo, Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, wanakutana na matatizo mingi sana na shida mingi sana juu ya ndani ya nchi ya Amerika. Juu hapa hivi malezi hapa hivi Amerika iko different na malezi ya nyumbani huko ambako tunakotoka. Asa ndo nasema kwamba gouvernement Amerika imewasponsor wao ili wasaidie watu, mafamilia, wazazi wasikutanane na matatizo juu ya kulea watoto hapa nchini Amerika. Maana wazazi wengi sana wanafungwa, wananyang'anywa watoto juu iko anaambia mtoto na mtoto asifanye hivi, juu wao hawaruhusu hivi. Sehemu ambako alitoka mtoto anafika hapa Amerika, anakutana na malezi ingine ya hapa, anapenda aige malezi ya hapa, lakini mzazi anamwambia hapana, shie nyumbani tu unafanya hivi, hawezi kufanya. So ile ndio wanapigana kusaidia wazazi na ya ili namna kulea watoto juu wazazi wasikutanane na shida na polisi na mambo mengine. So I was just trying to highlight in Swahili about what you just told. Yeah, one more question, if it's not the last one. A lot of people from our community, like refugees, they were raised, they have their background educations. Let me say, for instance, some of us there, a child, I don't wear, shorts, about dressing code, about going out to party, So a lot of parents, from Africa, once they get here in America, they try to tell their children, about the education from Africa. But once they get here in America, so the American life is totally different from African life.
Right.
So and that can be a little bit challenges. What can you talk more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the hardest things parents have to deal with, the conflicting values, cultures. They come here, they want their children to dress modestly, they don't want their children to go out on dates. They want to know who, they want to have control over this. And the children go to school with other children whose parents allow them to do all these things, and that's very difficult. And so in our Parenting in the Moment program, we talk about how you reconcile, how you deal with these conflicting issues. And what we're doing is we don't tell parents what to do, because parents know what to do. They know what their values are. What we do is we help parents with strategies and processes for figuring out how to teach their children these things. So, for example, what are your values, and how do you use your values to create goals for your children? How do you teach your children with those goals? How do you problem solve, have meetings, discuss things with your children when you are at odds with each other, when you are in different places? Your children want one thing and you want another. And so, for example, we have a whole module on how do you solve problems in families, and we have another module on how do you manage conflicts, and another one on how do you deal with big feelings about things. I really want to say, with your permission, Pascal, that I think a lot of people might be worried, well, if I'm interested in this program and I maybe want to join this study, this evaluation of the program, because I want to see the videos online that give these strategies for parents on how to be their children's best teachers, who will know that I joined? So it's very important for me to say that even though the funding that we received for this project came from the federal government, they do not have any control over what we do, and they are unable to find out who came into the study. When people enter, they join, they put their email address in, nobody else knows about it. It goes in a special safe place, and only me and maybe a few other people who run the study, who are in the study, will know who those people are. Nobody else. So number one, it's private and your participation is voluntary and completely confidential. The second thing it's very important for me to know is we do not need to know your social security numbers. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's might be, so that might be the highest worry about it. Okay, now they think, and I'm sorry for interrupting,
Please.
But I think they may have those worries. Oh, you know what? Maybe these people want to know my social security numbers and everything. Yeah.
Not at all. In order to participate, people go in and they give their name and an email address and a phone number, and we contact them. And the only thing we need to know is, have they come to, if you want to join, have you come to America in the last 20 years? And do you have a 6 to 12-year-old child? And if you do, and if you speak one of the 4 languages of the study, English, French, Arabic, or Spanish, then you can join the study, and we will be in touch with you. And not only is it free to join, there is no cost, no one will ever ask you for money, but also because we need some of your time, we will reimburse you for your time. So it's not a lot of money that we pay, but we have some money to pay because we ask people to give us a half an hour to 1 hour for your time, and we want to ask you some questions, and we want to ask your child some questions. Nobody will know what you answered. There are no right or wrong answers, and none of your information will be given to anybody outside this small group of people. And when we finish the study, we will recruit hundreds of people. So there will be no names associated with anything that we find. What we do is, as soon as somebody joins the study, the name, the email address, anything that identifies them goes in one file away. And the answers that you will provide turn into numbers. So nobody knows who has given what answers. I think that's really, really important for people to know. The only time when we will have to reveal something is if you tell us somebody is hurting you and you are in danger for your life, or your child is, and then we have to say something. But no other situation, we don't want social security numbers, and we will never share your information with anybody else.
Thank you so much, Abby. I think that was very important to know, and I think for those who had worries, worried about, maybe they're gonna ask me about my social security and everything. I think you guys heard from the director of the project, of the study, and for more information, you just click on the link and the contacts, and then you can ask more
Any questions?
any questions.
Yeah.
And then we believe it won't be the first time. You can come back in different ways.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
If people have questions, and I think we are so we are very happy to have you, Abby, in WIP channel. And I don't know if you have any last word to say before we finish.
I want to say thank you so much. I want to say that we have worked with thousands of families in the last 20 years in my career. And most families tell us they like to look at these programs and test these programs because they want to help other families. And I believe there are many families who have come to America from Africa as well as from other countries, who have learned the hard way, who wished they had some resources to help them. And if you are one of those families, or if you are a family who wishes you had some resources to help you, then please scan the QR code and ask us questions and find out more, because we would love to have your involvement and your input. And Pascal, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here.
We are so grateful. For most of us are very grateful, and for all WIP channel team, please guys, subscribe, like, share, subscribe, and this is we need your support, and so that we reach to the highest numbers of people. This WIP channel is for everybody, and please, we need your support in different ways, and this is we have come to the end of this program. Thank you for watching, and bye.